Derby County are searching for their future number 9, and another link which has come forward via the Derby County Fans Forum is Lasse Nordas, a player who we're rumoured to be interested in bringing in across the course of potentially the January transfer window and maybe even the summer one. And it's a deal which I think could be massively important for Derby County, and Lasse Nordas is certainly a player who I believe could have a real future in the English game. He's a Norwegian under-21 international. He's been capped 12 times, scoring 3 goals, standing at 1.94 metres tall, valued at €1.5 million. Will he be able to find a way across to the English game? That is a question for the future. His contract currently expires in 2027 and he's playing in the Norwegian First Tier for Tromso. Now, Lasse Nordas has a really big future ahead of him, and it's a bright future. At just 22 years old right now, born in February 2002, he's got a massive future coming his way. He's played for a few different teams over the course of the last few years, obviously playing for Tromso's youth team, sort of, where he's made 2 appearances, scoring once. He's also played for Bodo Glimt, who is played for both their senior team and their second team. 6 goals and 4 appearances for the second team. He's also played for Strømmen, where he's made 26 appearances, 9 goals and 2 assists. And then he did play for Bodo Glimt's first team as well as Tromso's first team. 38 appearances for Bodo Glimt, 6 goals, 3 assists, and at Tromso 63 appearances, 18 goals and 11 assists. Now, obviously, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, he has also played for the Norwegian national team, obviously only at youth level, under-19s, under-20s and under-21s. He's made 2 appearances for the under-19s, scoring once, 9 appearances for the under-20s, scoring 4 times, and 12 appearances for the under-21s, scoring 3 goals. Now, a lot of you may have heard of this player, you also may not have. I'll be completely honest. Before I saw the name on the forum, I hadn't heard it, and I do always give credit to where I find links. You'll have seen the link on the screen. If you haven't, it'll be up right now. And it is an interesting one for me because we know Derby County are searching in that foreign market, and we know that the foreign market can be cheaper than an English 22-year-old or a Scottish or Irish 22-year-old, obviously because of the way the rules work over here in England with the homegrown and things like that. It means that basically you can spend 50-60 million on a player that's in Europe would be worth 10-15 million pounds, and that's obviously a big battle to play with. And then as you go down the leagues, it obviously has the same battle because those players that are probably really only 500 to £1 million are going for like 4 or 5 million pounds to hit targets and things like that. And when we talk about Nordas, we have to talk about his height. 1.93 metres. I think this is the tallest of the strikers we've been linked to. Probably around that 6'4", 6'5" mark. And I think that's exactly what Paul Warne is looking for. Now, obviously, we've had our dealings with European teams over the last few months. You'll obviously remember Thordarson, who ended up going to Preston North End. You've obviously then got Jakob Zetterstrom, who ended up coming in the end. And this could be another one on that tally. And I do think it's really important that we utilise the foreign market. Obviously, the teams he's played for, massively important. Bodo Glimt are a team who have played in Europe. Tromso are a team in the first tier. So it's certainly an opportunity where he's going to be taking steps forward in his career by coming over here and playing in the English game and being just one step away from the Premier League, essentially. And you look at his positional chart now, and he is a centre forward outright. 57 appearances, 19 goals and 9 assists. 10 appearances on the left wing, 2 goals, 2 assists. 7 appearances on the right, 4 goals and 1 assist. And he's obviously going to be battling with the likes of James Collins, Connor Washington, Dejan Brown and Jerry Yates for a position should he come in within this January window. Now, I'm recording this on the 12th of January. I've got to do some bulk recording for some personal reasons. And it's one of those for me where I think this could be a wonderful signing for Derby, where they really add to what they have up front. Now, obviously, if it's a summer signing, I think this could be not a perfect replacement for Jerry Yates in terms of ability, but a perfect replacement for what Derby County are needing to do going forward, because we need a striker who can lead the line. We need a striker who has led the line and knows how to lead a line. And at 22 years old, he's made a ton of appearances in first team football, 63 for Tromso, 38 for Bodo Glimt. Obviously, it could be a lot more, a lot higher, and that will obviously go up as the season progresses and he plays football. But I do believe that this could be a really good deal for Derby. And it's the price tag that makes me think this will be a summer deal. €1.5 million is his estimated value. Now, I said probably a couple of videos ago where I spoke about the transfer market and Derby's budgets, and I believe Derby County have probably got between £1 and £2 million to spend in this window. Maybe that's a bit of a push, but that's my personal opinion. And I don't believe we'll spend it all on one player. You obviously look at the links we've had recently with Harvey Nibbs, Louis Barry on loan, Sam Smith, Richard Kone, and Tom Curzons. They're all potentially going to cost fees. Obviously, Curzons could be free in the summer if he ends up sticking it out at Ilkeston Town till the end of the season. But this is where I think Derby are at. And with the value sort of sitting at that £1.5 million euros, I think it's going to be a difficult one to get done right now. I think over the course of the next few months, I think it's a deal which could, value-wise, it's either going to skyrocket or drop depending on his personal performances. But if Derby County could potentially get a loan deal with an obligation to buy in the summer, I think that would be a really good idea for Derby County, because we do need a striker. Because come the end of this season, Jerry Yates goes back to Swansea, Collins leaves on a free contract, and Connor Washington could be out this January depending on if he recovers from his injury. And it's a really difficult situation for Derby, because what we've got right now in the building will probably suffice us till the end of the season, maybe. Really, we need a striker coming in, which is where I think we potentially bring in a Sam Smith or a Richard Kone just to fill that hole up until the summer, and then we bring someone in the summer to step up from them. And it's a really difficult one, because if you make the wrong call now, bring in, say, a Kone and it doesn't perform, a Sam Smith and he doesn't perform, and we end up getting relegated, that shuts the door on a potential deal for Nordas, because there's a lot of players that will drop down to the Championship from a first tier in Europe because they're one step away from the Premier League. But dropping down to the third tier is a very unlikely opportunity, and Derby County have to be clear on that, and so does Paul Warne and David Clowes, and it's certainly something which I believe they will be open to working with. Now, we do know that potential investment is coming over the course of the next few weeks, but next few months really, but we don't know when, how or if. We've had no talk about that since the initial report was released. I think it was back in September from BBC Radio Derby after a conversation with David Clowes, which really didn't give us any more extra insight than we had prior to that. And that is disappointing, really, because we're getting no information. We don't really know what's going on with the club. It makes it difficult when we're talking about transfers and looking at transfers, loans, anything like that, and even keeping players, because you look at someone like Erin Cashin, who was offered $4 million for just a year ago in, I think it was a summer transfer window from Brighton when he had 1 year left on his contract, and that deal never obviously went through, which was obviously good for Derby County, got him on a new contract, but now is he worth 10 to 15 million pounds? I certainly believe he's within that range, at least in my opinion, a minimum of 10 million. In my personal, I'd say more 15 to 20, based on some other signings in the division recently, but it sort of opens that door for discussions where someone like an Erin Cashin may have to potentially move on to be able to reinvigorate the squad and continue to build the squad. And then you've got to look at players like Cruz Allen, Niall McAndrew, Lennon Wilden, Dejon Brown, who potentially may have to move on in order for Derby County to continue to fund the rebuild of the first team. And that's obviously difficult to talk about, but it's a potential that could happen. Now, if you have not done so already, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video.